Alright, the boards came for the clock, and I'm getting ready to assemble them. Well, I only need one board because I only have enough components for one clock. But they sent me 5 of them. So here's what they look like. Really nice. I was able to label some things. Now this is just the first run, so I'll be able to learn from from my mistakes, and next time I'll be able to know what I should have silk screened onto the board. But yeah, here's what we'll do. I'll assemble them, and we'll see if they start working. Alright, so here's the board, just placing some components on it, and I've hooked up the power regulator, 5 volts, and I've also hooked up the first 2 displays. I got the top display done, which it's looking awesome. Got all the chips on, and I've just been testing it, testing all of the different combinations for the 7-segment displays. So maybe I can just show you, maybe demonstrate. So I have some switches here. 1, this first switch is up. 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, 9, and then 0. And so that's what I've been working on. I'm really excited. It's coming along pretty nice. The only thing that I wish I had done differently would have been to put some I didn't indicate where the ground or power was for this. I did indicate the different binary inputs. So this is for the seconds 0, seconds 1, minutes 0, minutes 1, hours 0, hours 1. And so those correlate with each one of these. I didn't label for these chips, I just labeled it like U1 through 6. I wish I had put like, this is a 7447 IC binary to 7-segment display decoder. I wish I had maybe put some information on the board, and maybe some information on like what traces, just some general like testing points. But it works, and the dimmer works great and looks awesome. And also the top board I have here, I haven't hooked up any of the other components. I have hooked up the power though, and I'm really glad that I put on this little LED indicator. It says here on it, it says power, which I think is really cool. I don't know, just to indicate that it has power. And so right now it's got power. I wish I had put this jack down here, because how the display board works is this goes on top of this, kind of sits there, pushed down into those pins. But I'd kind of like it to sit like that, but you got this cable there, which I mean, I didn't even think of that when I was doing the design process, so I'm not really too upset about that. It's like something that you can't really see ahead of time unless you actually have it physically in your hand, which I didn't have it in my hand at the time, and so I didn't even think of doing anything like that. But it's coming along great, looks awesome. This board works. I'm really happy that does, so I don't have to change it at all. And now this is the logic board. So let's get to it. So this is a image of the logic board that I finished, and let's see it working. Alright, I got it all hooked up and it's running. And there's one issue that I'm having. It's in the hours. Let me just turn the brightness down a bit. Brightness worked great. There's some components I haven't put in yet, like the LEDs and this potentiometer over there and the resistor. But everything else is working. Now what I have is I have the power connected to the board, but then I also have the power running from the board connected to this board to give me the clock signal. So that's where I'm getting the clock. So you can see it's going really fast. Let me just turn it down. So there's one issue with the hours. If I tap the board, sometimes it just changes randomly. Probably because I'm touching the traces, but sometimes it sticks and like changes just like that, like it's just changing randomly, and then it settles down. I did have it for a second where it was actually, the seconds were counting, but it was, the second was like going up, but this was going up on like the off beat. So it was like up, 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 up. So I don't really know what that could be. Maybe the JK flip-flop, maybe another chip, but it's counting up. It's kind of hard to test it because the signal is kind of slow and it takes a second to get through, you know, you go through all the time. So I was thinking of hooking it up to my function generator, and then just putting in, like, you know, I don't know, to 50 hertz, 60 hertz, you know, something like that. But oh yeah, look at that. See, it's just giving weird numbers. I don't know what could be causing that, so I'm gonna have to look into that. Okay, I think we fixed everything on the board. It is working how it's supposed to. Got these buttons working. Going up, incrementing 1 each time. No button bounce. So I can set the time. There's still a little bit of a bounce. Not too much. I mean, you can see that sometimes it'll skip, but it is not too bad. So I'm really happy with it. I fixed the, I changed out this to make the AM and PM a little bit dimmer. Still not exactly how I would like it. Still brighter than when I turn off the lights. And if I dim the main screen will dim a lot. Let me turn off my monitors. Okay, there we go. I just got one monitor up in my oscilloscope. So you can see that that's the dimmest. And that AM and PM indicator is pretty bright. But if you think about it, at night, that will turn off after 12. But now, I really want it to be able to go dim almost to where you can barely see it. So, still gonna work that out. I'm really happy with the way it turned out, so I'm glad I didn't have to edit anything, and I really like the way it's put together. I still have, so I'm still kind of just piggybacking off this board. I'll show you, let me show you the bottom board. Alright, so here's the bottom board. This connection, so this is the clock pulse. So there's a circuit that will go here that is for controlling the clock. And that circuit is right here on the breadboard. I still need to put it onto a PCB and be able to have it connect in. But you can see that I've got ground, power, and then the clock signal is just those 3 pins, and then these 3 pins are just extra pins. I hope later maybe in the future I want to do like maybe atomic clock, you know, put a radio transmitter here that gets the signal from Colorado, you know, the atomic radio frequency, so it's, you know, it's right on the seconds. But I'm doing a CD4060 incrementer, I think. I've got 2 of them, so it's running off of a crystal, so I'll have that hooked up. But that's the clock, and this is the logic. These are the counters, and then this is the logic for the board. Got the power, this is a 5-volt regulator. It does get kind of hot, which is surprising. I'll have to measure it and see how much current this whole board is taking. But that's the board. I really like how it turned out. So, and it just slides on like this, and then pushes down, you know, nice and sturdy and solid. So there we go. From idea to design to prototype. So I'm really happy with it. These are all able to come out, and I'm able to, you know, reuse these if I need, or if they burn out. I can always take out these chips, because I think these chips were about 50 cents a piece, and I think these were almost 75 cents a piece. So I wanted to be able to take them out and use them if I wanted to. But there we go. Hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer them. Thanks.